The wealth I seek is seeking me. It moves toward me with an energy that cannot be stopped, for it is mine by divine right. I do not chase, I align. I do not strive, I affirm. I understand now that the lottery win I desire is already complete on the spiritual plane. It simply awaits my full recognition and reception. In the mind of the infinite, there is no such thing as later. Everything is now. And now is when I receive. There is no luck in divine law. There is only alignment. The winning is not a random act. It is a response to my consciousness. I do not have to force the outcome. I only have to open the channel. I remove all thought of competition or desperation, for I know that what is mine cannot be withheld. I do not steal from anyone, and no one can take from me. The money I receive is not taken from the world's supply. It is part of the infinite substance, always multiplying, always circulating, always finding its way into willing, receptive hands. And I am willing, I am receptive, I am ready. The old beliefs fall away now, the belief that it's hard, the belief that it's not possible, the belief that wealth is only for others. I let it all go, for it was never the truth. It was only a spell cast by fear, reinforced by doubt, repeated by generations that forgot who they really were. But I remember, I know, I affirm, I command, I declare with full conviction that the wealth I've been longing for is not just coming, it's already here. It's waiting just beyond the veil of my belief, and with every affirmation I speak, that veil lifts. With every word of power, I see more clearly. I walk as someone who knows they are chosen for the blessing, not in arrogance, but in divine confidence. For Spirit plays no favorites, but responds to faith, and my faith is deepening, my faith is becoming unshakable. I understand now that money does not come to the most deserving or the most in need, but to the most aligned, so I align. I breathe into the frequency of wealth. I sit with the knowing that it is mine. There is nothing in me that repels this win. I am no longer resisting. I am no longer questioning. I am no longer delaying my good. I am now a magnetic center for divine riches, and the universe must respond. It cannot help but say yes to one who is aligned with truth. I speak that truth every day. I say it aloud with joy and certainty. My lottery win is already mine. It is appearing in perfect timing through perfect channels, with perfect ease. And as I speak these words, I feel the shift. The vibration around me changes. My heart opens, my hands open, my mind opens. I become the vessel. The divine power that creates worlds now flows through me. I use it wisely. I speak deliberately, for I now understand, my word is my wand. My word is my wand. I speak my world into existence. I no longer hope, I declare. I no longer wish, I command. And with every word that leaves my mouth, I carve the shape of my reality. The power is not outside of me, it is in me, and always has been. The divine within listens to every syllable, not as idle sound but as instruction. I now speak as one who knows. I speak as one who has awakened. I speak with the clarity and courage of someone who remembers who they are. The moment I say, I am a lottery winner, the universe begins its work. It doesn't wait for proof, for the announcement, for the numbers. It responds to my vibration, and the vibration is shaped by the words I use. Each time I affirm this truth, my world shifts. I am no longer aligned with lack. I am no longer entangled in doubt. I speak from the mountaintop now, not the valley. My voice rings with divine authority, and it does not echo back empty. I do not speak to beg. I speak to build. I speak to release what is already finished in the invisible. I understand that when I say thank you for my lottery win, I am not pretending I am participating. I am joining forces with unseen power. I am agreeing with the greater plan already laid out for me. It is not arrogance to speak boldly. It is spiritual obedience. For the one who hesitates, who waits for signs before they speak, delays their own good. But I no longer delay. I no longer whisper my desires. I declare them with strength and conviction, for I know the word spoken in faith is law in action. There was a time when I used my words carelessly, not realizing that I was creating with every sentence. I used to say things like, I never win, or it's impossible, or I don't deserve that, and each time the universe said yes. But I now speak differently. I now say, of course I win. I am aligned. I am blessed. I am open to receive. And again the universe says yes. My every word either opens or closes the gates of abundance, and now I speak only words that open the floodgates. The shift is already happening. I can feel it. My speech is no longer reactive, it is creative. I no longer report what is, I decree what shall be. I don't talk about the lack I see. I speak the wealth I know is mine. I don't affirm what others believe. I affirm what divine law reveals. I keep my word pure, powerful, and deliberate. For it is not just language, it is energy. It is frequency. It is magic shaped by belief. And now that I understand this sacred power, I move into the next level. I speak my truth, and I release it to the law. I let it be done, and I turn my attention not to proof, but to the truth beneath the proof. Because what the world calls odds, I now call illusion. And in the next moment, I rise above numbers, into the perfect knowing that spiritual law overrules all appearances. Spiritual law overrules all appearances. I am no longer impressed by odds, statistics, or logic that attempts to limit the infinite. I understand now that the divine does not operate through man-made restrictions. What may seem impossible to the world is not only possible in spirit, it is already finished. I no longer calculate probabilities. I no longer ask what are the chances, because the only thing that matters is what is the truth. And the truth is that nothing is withheld from me when I am aligned with the law of the good. I do not rely on the limited vision of the five senses. I do not need to see a win in the physical before I claim it in the spiritual. I have learned to walk by inner sight. The world may say 1 in a million, but I say 1 with God is the majority. I am that one. I am not governed by averages. I am governed by alignment. I am guided, instructed, and supported by divine intelligence, which knows exactly how to bring my desire to pass in ways that defy explanation. I no longer seek reassurance from outside sources. I don't need evidence. I am the evidence. My calm expectation, my unwavering faith, my daily declaration, these are the signs that it is already mine. When others look at a lottery ticket, they see a piece of paper. I see divine timing waiting to unfold. I see the exact combination guided into my hands. I feel the pull of intuition when I choose it. I trust the nudge, the whisper, the inner direction. I no longer second guess. I move as one who is divinely led. And yes, I understand that there are rules in the material world, but I also understand that the spiritual world writes those rules, and spirit rewrites them when necessary. The spiritual plane is not bound by what is considered probable. It is bound only by belief. When I believe in divine provision, when I believe that I can be chosen, when I believe I am worthy to receive, it happens. It must, for belief is the trigger, and spiritual law is the system that never fails. I let go of the old voice that told me to be realistic. I let go of every echo of doubt that said, "Why you?" Because I know why. Because I dared to believe. Because I dared to speak. Because I dared to rise above the noise of doubt and tune into the still voice of truth. And the truth says you are favored, you are worthy, and yes, you will receive. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you are in divine alignment with the perfect outcome. So I do not need to understand how it will happen. I only need to know that it already has. And I begin to live from that place, not trying to create, but simply allowing what is already done to flow to me. And in that flow, in that certainty, in that quiet confidence, I now open the door to a deeper realm of creation, where thought and feeling come together. I now prepare to step into the most sacred chamber of manifestation, where visualization with feeling becomes my bridge from the unseen to the seen. I now step fully into the chamber of manifestation, where visualization and feeling unite in divine power. I no longer imagine for the sake of fantasy. I imagine to create. I close my eyes and the scene comes alive. It is vivid, it is detailed, it is real. I see myself holding the winning ticket. I see the exact numbers aligned in front of me, glowing with confirmation. I hear the announcement, clear and joyful, declaring the numbers that match what I already know in my spirit. I feel the calm certainty in my body, not shock, not disbelief, but the quiet knowing of someone who has already received. My heart beats steady with expectation. My breath flows easily, peacefully, as I hold the image, not with strain, not with desperation, but with loving focus. It is a sacred moment between me and the infinite. I do not visualize as if it is something far off. I visualize as if I'm remembering something that already happened, because in the divine mind, it has already occurred. I am simply catching up to it. My imagination is not pretending, it is revealing. And as I see it, I feel it. The joy is not in the future. It fills me now. I feel the excitement bubbling up, not because it might happen, but because it already has. I feel the relief wash over me, the freedom, the gratitude, the sense of expansion. My body relaxes as I settle into the new reality I have claimed. I am not waiting anymore. I am welcoming. And every time I revisit this inner scene, I give it more life, more power, more clarity. The universe responds to that clarity. Spirit responds to that energy. There are no vague requests here. I am precise. I am clear. I am emotionally connected to my vision. I walk into the scene. I hold the check. I see my name printed in bold letters. I feel the coolness of the envelope, the texture of the paper, the weight of the abundance it carries. I smile, not with surprise, but with appreciation, because this is the natural outpouring of my alignment. This is the natural result of spiritual law faithfully obeyed. I don't rush the vision. I don't question it. I dwell in it. I play it back again and again until it becomes a memory, until my subconscious accepts it as truth. For the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. And so I give it the truth I choose. I imprint upon it the picture of wealth, of winning, of receiving with ease. And as that picture becomes dominant within me, the outer must reflect it. It is law. I do not visualize to force something to happen. I visualize because I know it already has. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual sight. And the more I see it, the more I feel it, the more I know it, until knowing replaces hoping, and certainty replaces desire. And from that knowing, I step into the next sacred act, not of doing, but of trusting. I now release the how. I surrender the mechanics. I let divine intelligence take over, for I now move into the grace of letting go. And now I let go. I release the how. I surrender the when. I stop trying to control the process, because I know the process is already in motion. I have done my part. I have spoken the word. I have seen the vision. I have felt the outcome. Now I step back and let divine intelligence carry it into form. I trust the unseen forces that are working on my behalf. I do not need to manage the steps. I do not need to figure out the path. I only need to remain aligned in mind and spirit, and the path will reveal itself with grace. I used to believe that letting go meant giving up, but now I understand that letting go is the highest act of trust. It is a declaration that I believe in something greater than my human logic. I believe in divine timing. I believe in divine orchestration. I believe in the silent, invisible ways the universe moves when I stop interfering. My need to control was rooted in fear, but now that fear has been replaced with faith, and faith does not grasp, faith rests. So I rest in this knowing. What I have claimed is on its way. The channel may appear as a ticket, a drawing, a number, but the real delivery happens in the invisible first. I am no longer attached to a specific form. I do not say it must come this way. I say let it come in the way of highest good, in perfect timing, with perfect ease. And with that I open the gates wide. I do not limit the universe with my narrow expectations. I give it full permission to surprise me, to astonish me, to bless me in ways beyond what I imagined. I no longer press or push. I no longer strain or worry. I understand that worry is a prayer for what I do not want. So I cancel that old habit now. I replace it with quiet assurance. Every time the thought of how creeps in, I return to my truth. It is not my job to control. It is my job to believe. It is my job to prepare. It is my job to stay in the vibration of receiving. The rest is handled. And as I let go, something beautiful happens. I become light. My energy softens. My heart opens wider. I no longer carry the weight of doubt. I float in trust. I walk through my day as one who is certain of their good. I notice the signs, not because I'm hunting for them, but because I'm attuned to them. I see synchronicities, gentle nudges, divine winks that say, keep going, it's coming. This is the moment where miracles are made, not in the striving, but in the surrender, not in the control, but in the release. And from this surrendered place, something else rises in me, something bold and beautiful. I begin to expect. I begin to anticipate. I begin to invite in the impossible, because I now know that expectation is not just hope, it is power. And with a full heart I now prepare to move into that powerful current of joyful expectancy, where every cell in my being begins to call forth the miracle. Expectation now fills me, not a nervous, impatient desire, but a calm and confident knowing. I expect miracles, not because I'm desperate for them, but because they are natural. They are my divine inheritance. They are the fruits of alignment. As I walk through my day, I carry this gentle certainty with me. Something wonderful is unfolding. The win is not distant, it's near, it's active, it's alive. I feel it circling me, preparing to enter at the perfect moment, like a divine guest who always arrives on time. This expectation is not based on fantasy, it is based on the laws of the universe, the same law that governs the sunrise, the seasons, the tides, governs my abundance. And just as I trust the sun to rise, I trust my lottery win to arrive. I no longer second-guess it. I don't wonder if, I only wonder how beautifully it will all come together. I walk with excitement. My heart beats with the rhythm of joyful anticipation. I expect a sudden windfall. I expect divine surprises. I expect the phone call, the message, the moment that changes everything in the blink of an eye. Not because I need it to feel whole, but because I already am whole, and wholeness attracts blessings effortlessly. This win is not a rescue, it is a reward, a reflection of the spiritual work I've done, the energy I've shifted, the truth I've embraced. I notice how the universe is always responding to my inner state. When I expect delays, I find delays. When I expect disappointment, it shows up like a shadow. But when I shift into the expectation of good, the atmosphere around me changes. Things move, doors open, people appear, everything begins to align with the vibration I hold, and so I hold the vibration of winning. I hold the frequency of delight. I hold the feeling of yes, today is the day something incredible happens, and even if it doesn't appear today, I do not drop my expectation. I do not waver. I simply deepen my trust, knowing that every day brings me closer, that each moment is part of a precise and perfect unfolding. My job is not to force the flower to bloom, it is to water it with faith, nourish it with belief, and bask in the joy of watching it grow. I walk as one who is ready to receive. My posture speaks of confidence. My smile carries the light of someone who already knows. I am not guessing anymore. I am not wondering anymore. I am living in the energy of fulfillment, and this energy is magnetic. It draws miracles toward me like a beacon. I am the lighthouse, and my win is the ship returning home. And from this place of joyful expectation, I begin to shift again, not just in what I feel, but in how I move. I begin to walk as if I've already received. I begin to act as if the blessing is already in my hands. Because I now understand the sacred practice of becoming before receiving. I prepare my life to match the gift that is arriving. I now begin to live as if the blessing is already mine. I don't wait for the money to show up to feel abundant. I feel abundant now. I don't wait for the numbers to be called before I celebrate in advance. My outer world is simply catching up to the inner reality I've already claimed. I act as if, I speak as if, I think as if. Because in the realm of spirit, it is already done. The moment I aligned with the vibration of my desire, it was created. Now I simply match that energy with every step I take. I wake up with gratitude, as if the win has already arrived. I smile when I look at my wallet, my bank account, my home, not because of what is there physically, but because I know what is coming. I bless what I have, and I make room for more. I live in the feeling of wealth. I carry myself like someone who has already received divine favor. There is no desperation in me. There is no lack. There is no waiting, only receiving. I begin to make space in my life. I clear out the clutter, mentally, emotionally, even physically. I prepare my environment to welcome the wealth. I think of who I will bless, how I will give, what I will do with the overflow. I move in faith, not fantasy. I align my habits with the reality I have chosen. The same way a host prepares for a guest, I prepare for the arrival of my abundance. I clean the room. I set the table. I open the door. I speak with authority. I no longer say I hope. I say it is. I no longer speak of what I lack. I speak of what I am becoming. When people ask how I'm doing, I don't just say fine. I say everything good is flowing to me now. I dress like someone who expects good news. I walk like someone who is ready to sign the check. I breathe like someone who has nothing to fear, because truly I don't. I am not faking it. I am faithing it. I am not pretending. I am preparing. I am embodying the energy of the one who already has what they asked for. And as I do, something incredible happens. The inner world and the outer world begin to mirror each other. People respond differently. Opportunities begin to appear. Ideas flow with ease. Divine connections are made. It all becomes effortless. not because life has changed, but because I have. I have taken my place as the one who is ready. This is alignment in action. It is the merging of spirit and flesh, belief and behavior. And now, with each passing day, I deepen that alignment. I move from preparation into thanksgiving. I begin to praise not because it is coming, but because it is here. I step fully into the power of gratitude, not as a response but as a generator. I begin to understand that thankfulness in advance is not only sacred, it is magnetic. Gratitude now flows from me effortlessly, not as a reaction but as a living frequency. I am grateful in advance because in the unseen it is already done. Gratitude is my evidence, it is my confirmation, it is the divine receipt that proves the transaction has been completed in the spiritual realm. I don't need the physical delivery to feel grateful. I feel grateful and the physical delivery comes. Every thank you I speak sends a signal to the universe. I am ready. I am open. I am aligned. I am the one who receives. I do not need to beg or chase or prove my worth. I simply give thanks. And this thanks is not empty. It is not ritual. It is charged with power because it comes from belief. Deep-rooted, unwavering belief that what I have claimed is already on its way. My gratitude creates momentum. It multiplies what I have and magnetizes what I desire. I start my day with thankfulness. Before my feet touch the floor, I say thank you for my lottery win. I say it with feeling. I let it fill my chest. I let it color my day. I say thank you while brushing my teeth, while making tea, while walking outside. I thank the air, the sun, the silence, for all are working with me, guiding me gently toward my manifested dream. Gratitude turns every moment into a prayer, and every breath into a blessing. Even when nothing has visibly changed, I keep thanking, especially then, because I understand that gratitude is the bridge between the spiritual and material. It's what keeps the signal strong. It's what removes resistance. I am not grateful out of obligation. I am grateful because I am wise, because I know the laws, because I've seen what happens when a grateful heart touches the divine. It opens doors, it moves mountains, it rewrites timelines. I give thanks not just for the outcome, but for the process, for every step that brought me here, for every lesson that shaped my faith, for every moment of silence that made my inner voice louder, for the strength I found in waiting, for the clarity I gained in stillness. It was all preparation, and I am grateful for it all. And now with my heart wide open in thanks, I step into a deeper truth. I deserve to receive. I am worthy of the win. I am not just grateful for the blessing. I am aligned with it. I am a match for it. I welcome it with joy, with peace, and with readiness. I do not question whether I can have it. I affirm that it is already mine. And as I hold this vibration of deep gratitude, something begins to shift even more. I feel lighter, more open, more certain, and in that sacred openness, I begin to release what no longer serves, the doubt, the fear, the guilt. I begin to dissolve every block that stands between me and the full expression of my abundance. As gratitude deepens, it clears the space for even greater receiving. I begin to notice how naturally the energy of thankfulness begins to dissolve all that once stood in my way. The doubt that used to whisper quietly in the background now has no place to speak. The fear that once gripped my thoughts finds no room to hide in the light of my gratitude. I feel a soft and steady power rising within me, a quiet knowing that says, nothing is blocking you now. I feel this release happening not just in my mind, but in my body, in my heart, in my breath. I inhale trust and exhale resistance. I let go of every unspoken belief that ever told me I wasn't worthy of big money, of sudden wealth, of miraculous outcomes. Those thoughts were never mine to begin with. They were handed to me by a world that had forgotten the truth. But I remember now. I remember that I was created in the image of divine intelligence. I was never meant to struggle or shrink. I was meant to shine, to expand, to receive without shame. So I release all guilt around having more. I release the fear that tells me I won't be able to handle it. I release the quiet voice that used to say, it's too much for you, or you don't need that much. I bless those voices and let them go. I replace them now with a higher truth. I am capable. I am prepared. I am trusted with abundance because I receive it with grace. Every limiting belief crumbles under the strength of this new awareness. I am no longer afraid to stand in my power. I am no longer apologizing for my desires. I don't need to shrink so others feel comfortable. I don't need to hide my light so others don't feel small. I let my life expand. I let the blessings overflow. And I know that my win doesn't take from anyone. It adds to the collective energy of possibility. When I win, others are inspired to rise. When I break the limits, I give permission for others to do the same. And so I walk forward without mental blocks, without emotional chains, without inner resistance. I am clear, open, and willing. I no longer sabotage myself with old patterns. I no longer delay my good with unconscious fear. I no longer resist the very thing I've been asking for. I am aligned in every cell, in every thought, in every breath. I stand tall in my worthiness. Now I affirm it boldly. I am worthy of wealth. I am worthy of sudden miracles. I am worthy of winning in ways that defy logic and exceed imagination. And from this place of deep worthiness, I feel the final shift. I am no longer asking, I am allowing. I am no longer chasing, I am attracting. I feel my entire being vibrating with the frequency of receiving. And from this frequency, I seal the manifestation with divine authority. I speak it, I believe it, and now I command it into form. And so in this state of unwavering allowance, I do what most forget to do, I let go. I surrender not in weakness, but in absolute trust. I no longer monitor how or when the lottery win comes. I no longer seek signs to convince me, because I already know. I already feel it here, now, as done. This is the power of divine detachment, not apathy, not indifference, but the peaceful release of control, because control belongs to the limited mind, while receiving belongs to the aligned soul. I release the how, I surrender the timing, I trust the unseen forces already set in motion. I understand now that the very moment I declared it, the very moment I believed it, the outcome was sealed. And so I walk in joy, not because I am hoping, but because I already have. My vibration is no longer one of waiting, it is one of possessing, and that shift changes everything. The energy of desperation repels, but the energy of calm certainty magnetizes miracles like iron to a magnet. I trust the process even when I see nothing yet. I trust the divine orchestration even if circumstances appear unchanged. I know the physical world is just a shadow of the spiritual reality that has already taken form. I don't need to force, I don't need to beg, I don't even need to do more. I need only to remain in alignment, pure, expectant, open, and when thoughts of doubt arise as they sometimes do, I do not panic, I simply return. I return to my center, I return to my knowing, I return to the truth that has never wavered. It is already done. I let that truth wrap around me like a warm cloak on a cold day. I wear it with grace, I carry it like a crown. I let the vibration of trust anchor me deeper than the fear ever reached. From this space, I begin to recognize divine clues, not as tests, but as confirmations. I notice little synchronicities, small blessings, unexpected joy. They're not coincidences. They are whispers from the universe saying, keep going. You're right on time. And with each one, my energy amplifies, my trust deepens, my detachment strengthens. I don't rush, I don't chase, I don't push. I simply continue to allow. And in this powerful state of letting go, something miraculous unfolds. The very thing I once longed for, now longs for me. The lottery win I once dreamed about begins to circle me like a destined companion, finding its way with ease and certainty. Because what is mine cannot miss me. What I have called in with clarity, faith, and surrender must respond. It is divine law. So I rest now, not in idleness, but in expectation. Not in passivity, but in readiness. I no longer hold on tightly, I hold it lightly, joyfully, peacefully. I have let go of the needing, and in doing so, I have stepped into the having, and that at last is the final key that opens the door. And now I rest, not in waiting, but in full awareness that what I have asked for, what I have aligned with, is already on its way to me. The work is done in spirit, and so it must appear in form. I no longer walk in search of the evidence, I walk as the evidence. My vibration has spoken louder than words ever could, and the universe has answered with certainty. The lottery win is not a distant dream, it's a present reality, moving closer with every breath I take in faith. I live as though it is already mine, because in divine truth it is. My heart is open, my hands are ready, and my soul is at peace. This is not the end, this is the unveiling. The seed has sprouted, the harvest is near, and I am prepared to receive in full measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. With gratitude as my anchor and expectancy as my compass, I close this chapter in knowing, not hoping, that divine abundance is already written into my story. All I had to do was believe, and I did. I do, I always will, and so with a calm spirit and a joyful heart, I say one final time, it is done, it is unfolding, it is mine, by divine right, in perfect timing, and in miraculous ways, and so it is.